Oslo, the capital of Norway, is a city that offers a fascinating blend of modern urban life and breathtaking natural landscapes. Nestled between the Oslo fjord and lush green forests, it's a place where cutting-edge technology and sustainability merge seamlessly with Scandinavian traditions. Norway itself is often hailed as one of the best countries in the world to live in, boasting an impressive welfare system, high salaries, and an excellent quality of life. But while Oslo, and Norway in general, has many things going for it, moving to this northern country comes with its own set of challenges. In this video, we'll give you a thorough list of the cons of living in Oslo, touching on the more difficult aspects like high prices and harsh winters. We will even discuss topics people don't like to talk about. Whether you're planning to move to Norway or just curious about life there, this guide will help you understand what to expect. While Norway is often considered one of the best places to live, it's important to remember that no country is perfect. Oslo, like anywhere else, has its downsides, and some of them might surprise you. One of the most common complaints about life in Oslo is the winter. Winter in Norway is long, dark, and cold, often lasting from November through March. While the city itself experiences relatively mild temperatures compared to northern Norway, it still gets cold, with sub-zero temperatures and snowfall common during the winter months. Daylight is limited in winter, with the sun barely rising for a few hours each day, which can take a toll on those not accustomed to it. Seasonal affective disorder is common, and many people struggle with low energy and mood during these dark months. Because of the lack of sun, many people need to supplement vitamin D daily. Norwegians are known for being reserved and introverted, especially compared to people from warmer countries such as Spain or Portugal. For newcomers, it can feel challenging to make friends or establish a social circle. People tend to keep to themselves, and while they are polite and respectful, they are not always eager to engage in casual conversation. Building meaningful relationships can take time, and the initial social isolation can feel overwhelming for many expats. Loneliness. As a consequence of the reserved nature of Norwegians, loneliness is a common issue for people moving to Oslo. Many expats report feeling isolated, especially during the long winters when social activities slow down. It can be difficult to break into social circles. And while there are clubs, different classes, and leisure centers, the feeling of loneliness is something that many struggle with. The best solution to integrate with Norwegians is to sign up for skiing lessons or just go skiing because it is their national treasure. For those who don't fancy winter sports, a gym or horse riding club is also a good option. Conservative approach to life. Norwegian culture can feel conservative in some aspects, especially for those used to a more spontaneous and expressive way of life. There's a strong sense of order and formality, and spontaneity isn't highly valued. Public behavior tends to be reserved, and people generally stick to the rules, which can feel overwhelming for some. After a few years spent in Norway, you can get the feeling that a lot of Norwegians behave in a very similar way. It looks like they do not tend to show emotions, neither bad nor good ones. I know that this is just an illusion, but it intensifies the feeling of loneliness for many. Problems with child welfare services, Barnevernet. Norway's child welfare service, Barnevernet, has been a source of controversy both within and outside the country. There have been numerous reports of Barnevernet intervening in family life in ways that many find too aggressive. The European Court of Human Rights has so far condemned Norway in 13 cases under the European Convention on Human Rights. These are cases involving the Norwegian childcare system, and they are not all. There are at least 20 other cases pending before the European Court of Human Rights. In some cases, children have been taken from their parents based on cultural misunderstandings or accusations of neglect that were later deemed unjustified. While Norway places a high value on the rights of the child, Many argue that the system is overly intrusive and can disrupt families unnecessarily. If you need more information on this topic, you can watch the documentary movie, Mrs. Chatterjee vs. Norway. The movie is based on the true story of Sagarika Chakraborty, who fights to get her children back from the Norway government. Scandinavian paradox. The uncomfortable truth. Everyone avoids discussing the Nordic paradox highlights a troubling reality. High levels of gender equality do not necessarily guarantee women's safety. Norway, often regarded as one of the world's most gender-equal countries, faces a stark contrast between its progressive image and the harsh reality of violence against women. A recent report by the Norwegian Center for Violence and Traumatic Stress Studies reveals alarming statistics. It found that 1 in 5 women have experienced rape through force, coercion, or while asleep. Additionally, women are far more likely to suffer severe physical violence from a boyfriend, partner, or ex-partner. Intrusive political and social security system. While Norway is known for its comprehensive welfare system, many people, both locals and expats, feel that the government's involvement in private life can be a bit excessive. The state needs to know everything about you, and hiding some details can result in severe punishment. The word surveillance is well known to all. The tax system is quickly progressive, meaning that the more you earn, the more income goes to the state. High taxes can feel burdensome for some, especially those with low income, pensioners, or with health problems. The state also plays a big role in tracking and managing individuals through their social security numbers. In Norway, personal income and tax information is publicly accessible. This is part of the country's commitment to transparency and equality. Each year, Norwegian authorities publish the tax returns of every citizen, which includes their income, taxes paid, and wealth. Laws, requirements, and integrated systems can be unsettling for many. Government monopoly on many products. Norway maintains government monopolies on certain products, including alcohol, which is only sold in state-run stores called Vinmonopolet. This means that prices are high, selection is limited, and buying alcohol is more complicated than in other countries. The state also has a strong grip on industries such as oil and gas, which can limit competition and consumer choice. The price of petrol can change from 18 to 24 Norwegian krone daily, and the changes are more common than you can imagine. For example, if I remember well, it is on Thursdays when the fuel is the cheapest, whereas on Mondays, it can be even 30% more pricey. Norway also keeps managing the price of electricity and groceries. Unusual for many is the fact that, for instance, if the price of tomatoes rises in one shop by 50%, it also will rise in the rest of the shops, which operate under different brands. A situation like this means that in the whole country, you won't buy cheap tomatoes anymore. This situation also happens daily and affects at least all food products. The cost of living in Oslo is notoriously high, and much of this is due to government regulation of prices, particularly on essential goods and services. Groceries, eating out, transportation, and housing are all expensive, and the government's involvement in regulating prices and taxation means that it's impossible to avoid high costs. Norway imposes heavy taxes on alcohol and tobacco, for example, making these products particularly costly, which leads to another drawback. Small variety of products in shops. Another downside of living in Oslo is the limited variety of products available in shops. Norway does not import many goods and bets on domestic products. As a result, you will find fewer options when it comes to food, clothing, and household items. Moreover, the products tend to be more expensive than in the rest of Europe. This lack of variety can be frustrating, especially when it comes to finding a specific brand or diversity. Even though the quality of products is great, when living in Norway you probably won't experience different flavors of yogurts, cheeses, sausages, etc. The cuisine. While Norwegian food can be wholesome and hearty, it's not known for being particularly flavorful. The traditional diet is based heavily on meat and vegetables, but it is prepared in the same smushy way. Some expats find the food in Norway to be bland and dull. While Oslo has a growing food scene with international options, the local cuisine often doesn't excite the taste buds. The most common dish is mutton and cabbage stew called fårikål, or another stew called brun lapskaus. In my opinion, the rest of the Norwegian dishes can taste very alike. In conclusion, Norway is not without its challenges. Like every country, it faces its own issues and obstacles. No place is perfect, and it's essential to consider all aspects before deciding to move anywhere. Doing so can help avoid many potential disappointments. After all this heavy information, I suggest seeing the positive side of living in Oslo, which is right here. It will help you understand the city better.